All righty, good morning. Time now, 7:05. I promise I'm not just texting. I'm looking up when we're live, and it turns out we are good to go. Thanks to Jasmine, one of our digital producers here, for always setting up these live streams every time we do them, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or on the 10 News app. So let's get to it. As those of you who are just waking up with us, just joining us, we're going to start you out with one of the maybe smaller impacts of the day. Most main roads are in great shape, which, by the way, shout out to all the road crews who have done a phenomenal job ever since Monday. There's also plenty of other people working through this and everything that deserve that shout out. Feel free to give them some love in the comments section. But one of the things we'll have to watch out for, the bridges, the overpasses, whatever you call them, sidewalks, things like that, they tend to lose heat a little more quickly than the main roads. So anything that maybe looks wet or was wet yesterday, it's ice now. Because it is very, very cold out there. And one of the things about Virginia that's kind of cool is you get all 4 seasons. That's certainly the case. The highest heat index in the Roanoke Valley in the summer of 2023, that was in late July when it was 105. The lowest wind chill so far this winter has been this morning at 3 below. Again, that is just the Roanoke Valley. There are several other places that are feeling much, much colder, and I'll explain why we use the wind chill here in just a little bit. It is an important number. It's not just made up. It's crucial, and I'll show why here in just a little bit. But you see that in Wytheville, the wind chill, that's dangerous, 16 below zero. Feeling like 7 in Blacksburg. I think at times it's probably much lower than that. This sensor in Hot Springs, it's up toward Ingalls Field, says feels like 21 below. I would believe it's probably teens below in the town near the Homestead, near Bokova Beer Company. Covington feeling like 15 below. Again, that's brutal. That's stuff that we really haven't felt since Christmas of 2022. Now let's talk about why we care about the wind chill. Again, it's not just a made-up number. When there's no wind, our body radiates heat. And there's a layer then of heat that's between our skin and the cold that helps us regulate our body temperature. Well, when the wind is involved, that layer of warmth is removed, and so heat loss is sped up. Our body temperature can drop if we're not clothed properly, if we're staying outside for too long. So that's why we've seen like a number of warming shelters set up for those who are maybe experiencing homelessness, or those who maybe don't have the proper heating in their home. That is a big reason why here this morning. So that is why we talk about the wind chill. One of the things that I've tried to do a better job of is not say like, oh, it's 4 degrees, but it feels like -14. You know, I think sometimes that gets confusing. It's something I'm trying to do a better job of here. So always trying to learn, right? At 7:08 this morning, 8 o'clock rather, looking at wind chill still below zero in parts of the New River Valley and Highlands. It'll be just above that in Roanoke, Lynchburg, and Southside, but not by much. Lunchtime still very cold despite sunshine. The wind is going to add insult to injury with the Arctic air that's in place, and by 4 p.m. we'll be in the teens and in the 20s. I also don't know about you guys, but I'm like constantly grabbing the lip balm, the chapstick. I feel very dry right now. Anytime you have Arctic air in place, the air is very dry. It means static electricity increases, so you're probably shocking people. I know my poor cat at home has been on the receiving end of some shocks, not purposefully, but that just is something that happens when it's this cold and this dry out. Now, as we head into the overnight, the wind calms down, but it's still going to be frigid first thing tomorrow morning. Most of us 11 to 16 degrees, but by tomorrow afternoon, we'll rise well above freezing. Highs mid to upper 30s in the NRV and Highlands. Roanoke, Lynchburg, Southside, 41 to 44. So today and tomorrow, we are dry. Let's start you out with Future Tracker. This is 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're clear. We're very cold. Heading into the afternoon, that's when we'll see some clouds increasing. This is 7 p.m. tomorrow, and we're still mostly dry. We're going to track another storm system coming in with borderline temperatures. And the one thing I do want to tell you is that I think that Future Tracker is overdoing the amount of moisture here. What we have is kind of one storm system to the west with another to the east, and oftentimes you get energy transfer from one to the other. So I do think it's overdoing things a little bit here. That said, I do think we see light snow, especially near and to the north of Rocky Mount, Smith Mountain Lake. I'll show you the preliminary totals here in just a little bit, but I do think we see that Friday morning. So even if you get a quarter of an inch on our cold ground, that'll make things pretty slick Friday morning. So it's not so much about the numbers when it comes to that. Here we are Friday afternoon, and there may still be snow toward Peaks of Otter, Afton Mountain, areas north of Interstate 64. And then really deeper into the afternoon, it turns into one of those things where the western slopes see accumulating snow, and then we've got these scattered streaks, scattered snow squalls that would still happen in parts of the New River Valley. And again, that would be Friday evening, okay? So as far as how much we expect, keep in mind, again, this is preliminary. This is subject to some tweaks. I made a widespread area that covers nothing to an inch. And again, I think that can be tailored a little bit more once I consult with the weather team, but just wanted to give you guys at least a rough idea. So anywhere from nothing to an inch is what most of the forecast data is indicating with Thursday night into Friday. In the darker blue, rural Retreat, Bland County, parts of Giles County, Paint Bank, western Grayson County, areas north of Lexington and Covington, Afton Mountain, Hot Springs, 1 to 3 inches of snow out of this. And then in the white, that's your western slopes, right? So that's going to be western Greenbrier, western Pocahontas, western Highland counties, 3 to 6 plus. I could see that being the case maybe toward Troutdale and White Top in western Grayson County. So again, I don't think this is going to be quite as much as what we saw with Monday's storm, but even if, again, you get a quarter of an inch, half an inch of snow on the cold ground, it could make things slick during the Friday morning commute. So that would be the main thing to watch out for. I'm not a school superintendent, but it's at least a possibility that you see school delays with this weaker system coming in. Most of us probably not going to be shoveling. Power outages don't look like a big concern. Here is the main thing, however, that we'll have to watch heading into the weekend. It is yet again another blast of Arctic air. Look at all the pink and the purple there. These are the morning lows from Saturday through Monday. Saturday in the teens, Sunday single digits in teens, Monday in the teens. The one thing about Saturday is that around 2 or 3 a.m. you may be in the 20s, and then temperatures drop into the teens, and that's basically where they flatline throughout the day. When you factor in the wind chill, once again, Saturday could be in the single digits. It could be in some areas below zero. So again, kind of double dipping here with the Arctic coming back into our backyard. So Sunday morning, very cold. Monday morning, very cold as well. If you're sick of this, here's some good news. Okay, looking ahead to next week and looking 8 to 14 days out with this outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, there's increasing odds of warmer than average air in the eastern U.S. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to be in the 70s, but it at least means that things will start to turn around. As high pressure sits over the eastern U.S., kind of forces the cold air to go back into the Arctic, into Canada. So no, I don't think we're going to see this kind of Arctic air for too much longer, but it will last off and on into the weekend. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and show you the extended forecast this morning. Temperatures 20s and 30s this afternoon, 30s and 40s tomorrow. By Friday, we'll watch for some light snow moving into parts of the area, especially, again, I think, near into the north of areas like Rocky Mount, Smith Mountain Lake. That'll be Friday morning. Friday afternoon, most of us turn dry. Then the Arctic air returns. It's kind of like, oh yeah, one more thing coming back for seconds by Saturday and Sunday. And then each afternoon next week, we'll start to warm up a little bit more. Monday and Tuesday, you go from the 40s to the 50s, and that's essentially where we're going to stay heading through much of next week. Time now is 7:14. Been at this for about 9.5 minutes now. Appreciate you guys joining us. Again, not as much to talk about this morning as the past couple of mornings, but it is brutally cold out there. So make sure you guys are dressing for the weather. Check up on the elderly, you know, especially in some of your neighborhoods. Make sure that everybody is doing well and properly heated and everything like that. I do think wind chills will go above zero for a lot of us here as we head into the afternoon. As we sign off here this morning, there's a look at some of the main weather headlines that we're tracking. All the latest on WSLS.com with updates every half hour on the Today Show. The first one coming at you live at 7:26. Stay warm, stay safe, have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care now.